Hello everyone, I'm Keria Jenkins and this is...
I'm Skye, farmer, journalism and mass media communications major.
And we would like to thank everyone for joining us today to talk about many discussions, many issues here on campus. And the first topic is the big one, which is parking. Now I don't know about y'all, but me, I have to drive around in a circle for like 20 minutes just looking for parking. And you can't find none. And then it's like then when the end of the school year comes, that's when everything wants to clear up and we're done. And it's like, what's the purpose? Like, what's with that? I think they need more parking because you know how many students you have. You know you have the biggest enrollment of students out of any HBCU, but then they still give us the limited parking. And then like some days when you get the email and they're like, okay, this parking is going to be closed. This parking is going to be closed. This deck is closed. Oh, but you can use this deck that doesn't have any parking, like barely any. Like, what do you think about that?
Honestly, right, I don't drive at A&T purposefully because the parking pass is what, like $200, $300? How much? Too much, right? But then on top of that, I have friends who do drive here, and they complain every single day about how they don't even want to move their car because then they can't find a space when they get back. So, and then on top of that, it's like A&T already accepts so many people. So when you get all these people in, and then the next year they're all driving, it's just a whole mess, and then it adds up into everything else we got to talk about later in the segment. So that's how I feel. I'm never going to drive at A&T. You can count me out. So.
But it's like some people have to drive; they don't have no choice, and it's like
that's true.
They're like, oh well, don't. I see some other students would be like, oh, well, just walk, even if you live in like Sebastian or something. And it's like, first of all, this is my car, and I want to drive it. Some days it's hot, it's rainy, you just don't want to walk.
Exactly.
So it's like they want us to fix the solution, but we didn't make this campus. We didn't build it. We didn't put the parking decks here. Create some more space. We pay for it, so create it.
How much is your tuition? Are you in-state or out-of-state?
I'm out-of-state, so it's a lot.
Me too. So it's $30,000 if you don't know, plus for out-of-state students. And so when you add parking on top of that you can't even use, and then on top of that you add all the other extra fees that we have, like textbooks. I heard grad students, you still have to pay for your graduation stuff. We'll get into that later though. But yeah, that's just how I feel about parking. So the next segment that we're going to talk about is the problem we had with the recreation center and the pool, right? So a lot of you, if you don't know, the pool and the recreation center, we pay $435 a semester to use the gym and the recreation center, right? I use the gym every other day, all the time. So I called the financial aid office, and the treasurer's office, and I said, yo, like, what are y'all doing about this? Can we get some type of partial refund? You know, what's going on? Because they didn't give us a date of when we could go use it. And we still paid for it, right? And the lady goes, well, there's just nothing we can do about it, and there's nothing that we're going to do about it.
That's crazy.
That's exactly what she told me. I said, well, do you know if the campus is doing anything about it? And she said, no, I have no idea. And then she also said that you're going to pay it regardless whether you're on campus or not on campus, whether you use the gym or not. And I said, why is that? And she said, it's a state fee. I said, okay, cool, right? So I email the director of the student center, because he also, coordinates with the recreation and the pool and all that, right? And he didn't respond. So I emailed the UNC system, right? And I was like, we need help. Nobody's responding, and we're paying $435 a semester to use this stuff that we can't even use. So then, the very next day, lo and behold, the recreation center director emails me back, and he said, Skye, we're offering tours of the recreation center, and we are also offering group classes. Now, what do you think about that, right?
So, what does them offering group classes have to do with you or any student that needs to use the center? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I just feel like it's simple. If it's not open, then you need to take it off of what we're paying for, take it off of the tuition, and then when it's open, then you can put it back on. But it's like, why was it closed for so long? I mean, had the whole summer, and you wait till we come back to want to close it down.
Exactly.
And then the responses is like, if I'm going to message someone to figure out like what's going on, when it's going to open back up. I don't want any negative responses back to me.
Exactly, especially since we're the ones paying, right? So then I jump into the next thing, right? I email him back and I'm like, well, can you give us a chance to go work out at another school's gym for part-time just until our gym opens?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Since we're still paying for it. He completely disregards that whole option, right? And then a few days later, you said what?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. Then a few days later, right, all of a sudden they're like, well, people can go into the gym if classes aren't in the gym, right? And I was like, okay, so if we have that option, or we had that option, why didn't y'all post that on the recreation center Instagram like you posted everything else about the group classes and about the recreation center being open, right? He didn't respond to that. He was like, please go talk to the recreation center director. So that's what he told me. That's how a lot of problems at A&T are dealt with. Usually they're circled around, or they'll offer alternatives that make up for our situation.
But that still don't really work. So.
But it still doesn't work. Correct.
Which brings us into our next topic, which is the biggest issue that everyone is having right now, or nearly everyone, which is housing. So my personal experience with housing this year was that I had a time and a date to apply, and then when that time came, it was closed. And I was like,
Same.
Well, what am I supposed to do next? And I'm an out-of-state person, and it's like, if you can't, I was like, okay, I'm going to get all online classes. And then that didn't work. I wasn't able to get all online classes. So it's like, now I have to drive from South Carolina, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes away from campus, like at least once a week or sometimes twice a week.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And then there's a wait list for it. But from what I've heard from other students is the wait list has not been opened up. They haven't had anyone drop out of any housing on campus, off campus. So it's like, what are we supposed to do?
Right. I heard that I heard this is what their reasoning is for bringing all these students in, right? It was a rumor that so many people are dropping out that they're replenishing it with admissions. So they're accepting more people just to replenish the dropout limit instead of fixing why people are dropping out.
Which is, some people might have to drop out just because of this issue.
Exactly.
Issue. Because what if you don't live in South Carolina? What if you live all the way in New York or something? Like, how you fix that? And you can't get all online classes.
Exactly.
But you don't have housing. And then we're college students, like, we're supposed to have like $700 for rent to give these leasing people. Like, is that what we're supposed to do? Or are we supposed to pay other students $600 for a room?
Right.
No, I don't think so. No.
And apparently campus apartments, I've never been in a campus apartment before, but isn't it $700 per person that lives in that apartment?
Yes.
Is that correct?
I used to live in on campus in, what was it called? McCain Hall. And first of all, nobody wants to live in the dorm on campus because I can go on for hours about the issues about that. But housing, I don't know. I think it can be better about, like I said, you know how many students are on campus. You know what you need to do. That means make more rooms available and more parking space. And it's just that simple.
Yes, and fix your already issues that are here, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much for tuning in to Aggie Talks. I'm Skye once again.
And I'm Keria Jenkins. And thank you for joining us.
Bye. Cool.